You guys from Duck Hunting Club.
Oh, really? Where's that?
In Gar.
Oh, okay.
And no, I have not started drinking yet. For two reasons. One, I'm the meeting, and second, is it hurts too much.
Well, mine's water. It's just in the big box.
And I've got water too. Here.
Now, our book club later, that might be a little bit different.
That could be wine, though. Yeah, water.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Yes.
Well, I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving wherever everyone is.
Yeah.
Same to you, Sharon.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving in advance to everybody.
And a safe one. A very
Yes.
safe one.
It's going to be very different this year.
Indeed. Very quiet.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum present.
Thank you. I'd like to call the Sugarland 4B. I'd like to call the Sugarland 4B Corporation meeting to order for Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. The next item, public comment. Citizens who desire to address the City Council, board, and/or commission with regard to matters on the agenda will be read and/or received at this time. Are there any people from the public wishing to present?
No, ma'am, comments have been submitted.
Okay, let's close this item then and move on to the minutes. Consideration of and action on the minutes of October 21st, 2020 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Motion to approve?
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion by Director McCutcheon and a second by Director Atkinson. I'm going to do a quick poll and make sure. So, Director Saunders,
Approved.
right? And Director Gasani,
Approved.
Director Kamali.
Approved.
Okay, well, I guess I'll go back. Director McCutcheons
Aye.
and Director Atkinson.
Aye.
And I approve. So the motion carries unanimously. And let's go to the next one. Looking at the time. So, public hearing at 4:02. Receive and hear all persons desiring to be heard on Sugarland 4B Corporation Resolution Number 2020-11-05, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Sugarland 4B Corporation funding parklets in private shopping center parking lots using Sugarland 4B Corporation funds. Is there anybody for public hearing on this?
Actually,
Chair,
Madam Chair, if we can have the presentation go first, and then we'll open the public hearing.
Okay,
And then you can see the time.
yes, okay, so say the time now.
No,
No, after the presentation.
Okay, so Cam, you're your public-private partnership manager here to present.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to talk to you today about the Parklets program, but more specifically in the beginning, I want to speak about our AllInForSLTX Placemaking initiative. We'll provide some background on how we got to bring this out for you today, and talk through some of our thinking on placemaking work we're starting to undertake. So our placemaking initiative really began as an output of the City Council retreat that held back in September. At that retreat, City Council shared a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, saying that they wanted to go out and do cool and unique things in the a message that we heard loud and clear, and we took it upon ourselves to really come up with an approach that will allow us to do good things, but also continue our response to the impact of businesses during the pandemic. So we've begun to think through and identify projects that are designed to establish really an ecosystem of innovation, and it gives a chance to showcase the creativity that's present in our community. We know that Sugarland is growing and changing and entering a new phase of growth, really. And we feel like Parklets Project is one example. We'll hear another example in a moment as well. An opportunity to really show that creativity and that advancing Sugarland. So the overall goal of this initiative is going to be work that helps us build a strong economic foundation so that as we grow, we have success items, tasks that we see that we can build on and really help us become known for creativity, known for innovation, that will help us compete within the larger region when it comes to attracting residents, employers, and just attention to the city of Sugarland. So with that, I'm going to jump in and talk about specifically the Parklet program we are proposing today to you. Next slide, please. So one of the ideas that was, I believe, discussed specifically at the council retreat back in September, along at the same time the overall excitement was being generated, was this idea to begin establishing Parklets or establishing a Parklet program for the city. For those of you who may or may not be familiar with a Parklet, Parklet is essentially a small park that typically they fit into something like a parking space along an urban street. So the Parklet program is really an attempt to develop a few Parklets, get an understanding of how they would fit into the Sugarland built environment. We don't have a ton of busy urban streets with wide sidewalks next to the storefronts, next to parallel parking, which is next to traffic. But we do have a lot of shopping centers that have underutilized parking spaces that really do provide a setting for experimentation, innovation. And so the idea that we are working through or working with here is to develop up to 2 Parklets within shopping center parking lots as a place for the introduction of seating, activity, in a way that allows people to see something besides a parking lot when they walk in and visit our businesses here. So we want to use these 2 Parklets to really show them the concept and generate feedback for possibly future Parklet program. We're not exactly sure what the future Parklet program will look like, but we think that developing 2 Parklets and working through that with property owners and with our internal staff will give us an opportunity to really look constructively at how we would move forward with the larger program after we implement these 2. So we are working directly with one location right now, in conversations with other locations, but really focusing on one location in the city that we would like to construct the first Parklet prior to the end of the year, and hopefully generate that second Parklet at the same time. Start working through that with the other property in contact. Next slide. So again, what are Parklets? They're pretty straightforward. They are a creative conversion of typically on the street, not always on the street parking, but making that into amenities for people who are using the area. So seating for restaurants, seating for people taking a break from shopping in shopping centers that may have multiple destinations for people. The goal is to provide a usable, enjoyable, and probably should have mentioned here, attractive space. So the public space. They are a pretty cost-effective way to activate streets and areas and promote economic vitality. And because you're adding seating space and space where people can gather safely and social distance, you really can have the opportunity to increase foot traffic, which is good for people who are to see people. When people see people in a place of activity, they feel more attracted to that space. Next slide. I'm going to go through just a couple of pages of different different ideas or concepts for how parklets have been developed in other communities. As you can see, seating, table area, and planting is a main component of these parklets. Also, blocking the area off with built, constructed planters is another way to really set the area aside, make it clear to automobile traffic and foot traffic people that this is not a place for cars, this is a place for people to be in a safe area section off from auto traffic. Next slide. So what we're proposing, before I move to a couple more images, what we're proposing today is that the SLB fund design and construction up to $50,000 for 2 parklets. We anticipate that will completely fund 2 parklets. Again, the goal is to complete one of those parklets by December 31st, and at the same time continue talking with other property owners around the city to identify a second location. We have reached out to design build firms within the Houston area. We received 2 response proposals from our request that includes they include the same thing: decking, level platform to make sure that you're not setting people on an uneven surface, visible separation from the adjacent auto traffic, some sort of seating and table arrangements, and integration with adjacent non-automobile uses. So like the sidewalk and the planted areas that may be adjacent to the spaces we're creating these parklets. One of the important components is that we will be working with the property owners. So I'm going to show you a few images of potential designs, but please understand that this is all subject to getting the consultant or the design build firm on board and getting them in discussion with the property owner. Make sure that what's being proposed and built is actually acceptable to the property. Next slide, please. So these are some renderings of that we have received from one of the proposal respondents. As you can see, they've taken on the components I've talked about already, separating the side-off, seating, tables, planters. They've incorporated at a high-level design some lighting as well. And so this is not a speaking image of what will be constructed, but this is more of a visual of what is possible through this project. Next slide, please. So, as far as next steps, we are proposing to utilize again $50,000 from the Reserve for Opportunities line item for these first 2 parklets. We currently have in the 4B budget, we currently have $1.7 million budgeted Reserve for Opportunity. And then we will be, at the staff level, we'll be working with the firms that responded to develop 1 or 2 contracts to actually design and build the parklets. As far as once the parklet is built and into operation, before that happens, the property owner will be required to enter into a performance and maintenance agreement. That's going to allow one second stage that allows the design builder to actually go out and build the farm through the coordination with the property owner and the city staff. It will require maintenance of the parklet for at least a 6-month period. And the property owner will be required to assist staff in the collection of information on public use, again, so that we can inform whatever the next step might be for the parklet program. After we have implemented and gathered some of that data and really learned gather some lessons from it, staff will gather that information and identify what the next steps might be so that we can implement a formal parklet program if that is what makes sense after we implement it. Next slide. And so our recommendation from the staff is to hold a public hearing, which I believe we'll do in the following slide, and then approve the resolution to fund the parklet pilot program in the amount of $50,000 and to approve the use of Reserve for Opportunity funds. Next slide. That'll turn it back to you, Madam Chair.
Yeah. So at this time, I'll open for public hearing at 4:13 p.m. City secretaries or anyone who would like to make a public comment?
No, ma'am. It's not enough.
Okay, so closing the public hearing at 4:13 p.m. And now, consideration of an action on the Sugarland 4B Corporation Resolution number 2020-11-05, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Sugarland 4B Corporation funding parklets in private shopping center parking lots using Sugarland 4B Corporation funds. Are there any questions for Cam?
Everyone.
Go ahead, Director Atkinson.
Cam, thank you for the presentation. Good job. Appreciate it. How long is the agreement with the property owner? Is it just a 6-month agreement with options to renew, that sort of thing?
So the version that we have worked with legal to draft is a 6-month performance maintenance and operation agreement. We anticipate at that point essentially turning the park over to the property owner for their management. We would be open to any feedback you may have on that.
So at the conclusion of the agreement, and I know you haven't done this before, but there's other venues you mentioned without, if the property owner doesn't like the setup, doesn't like having to maintain it, for various reasons it's not working out, will we be able to recover some of that construction type investment by picking up and moving the project to another potential contract location? Just have an economic life, if you will, beyond the contract that it's initially set.
That's a great question, and with what we're proposing to do with these two parklets, I would say that would be unlikely that we would want to or be able to take a built-to-suit parklet and move it to another site. I'm not going to say that that's impossible, but my thought is that it would be unlikely, given that the design builder firm will come in, will essentially build it to the measurements of the parking spaces we're putting in at the site. One of the conversations that we had when we were thinking through how this might work, and this may still be an opportunity down the road, is to develop something like our Sugar Cube, which is essentially a party box, or a party in an enclosed trailer that the city manages. But to look at something like a parklet box that accomplishes a similar goal. For the first set of parklets, we didn't want to focus on that, not knowing how successful or some tweaks that may be made. But if mobile parklets is something that we find is valuable, that's definitely.
You might ask if there's any cities or communities that you profile in that have done this, and you have any connectivity with them, you might ask them about various iterations. What's happened when it's not worked out, what's when it has. See if there's anything we want to incorporate in the agreement with the property owner that could provide you with an option. And again, I'm just thinking of the economic life of the construction product that's there and whether or not it's movable. Certainly this is a very worthwhile project, idea of approach, and I do hope it works. But I just wondered about the flexibility that you said. Thank you.
So, Ken, excellent presentation. I think it's a very great idea to add to the beauty of the city for sure. My concern is about the safety. Some of the images which I saw, they're very close to the streets or the parking. How are you going to ensure the safety of the users so a car doesn't, if God forbid if the car runs into this parklet, then what happens? So what measure are we taking?
Yes.
Director McCutcheon?
Kim, thank you. Kim, are there any places where it's wide enough that have a parklet on, I guess, on that concrete area between the parking space and the storefront? It seems like there's a couple of there's a few what you'd almost call like a little parklet area in First Colony Mall, and that's freestanding, not the mall part, but, the freestanding part where Talbot's and all this stuff is. They have like some just some seating areas and stuff like that could almost be sort of like little parklets and stuff. So yeah, are any places wide enough where you could actually take it in part of that area as opposed to putting it in the parking lot?
Yeah, so that's actually a great example of information that for the locations that we're talking to now, we did make sure that Heidi and Mall were looking at this opportunity. I think they're comfortable with where their public space, black space is at right now. Well, that's why you're exactly right. Those wider sidewalks that maybe enough distance for ADA requirements to get around any space that we taken up would be a great opportunity. And with the one shopping center we're talking to, they do have some wider space that could be utilized. The challenge there is it's right in front of the business, it's no on the road, and so they're looking to trying to look at spaces that wouldn't block the view of folks coming into that, and also would be accessible to people who walking through the cars. But you're exactly right. The extended sidewalk spaces is a great opportunity to do that. And with the side we're again tentatively looking at for the first parklet, there is a sidewalk adjacent to the parking spaces that we would be most likely utilizing for this parklet. The sidewalk itself is not wide enough, but we definitely see the activity extending from the park into that sidewalk and into a planting area that's passively planted area that's adjacent to that.
Thank you.
And I'd just like to add, this is a pilot program. So we've done some research, we've done some planning, we have looked at some other communities, but we wanted to get this out into the community as quickly as we could. And so there are going to be some lessons learned from this as we continue to try to implement it and find our partners. So we appreciate all the feedback and welcome more feedback to come, because we are this is a pilot program, so we are working this through and finding other options or solutions or challenges as we go.
So I had a question. How will you measure the success of it?
Yeah, so one of the components that we believe will be included with this is a sign that includes a QR code or a link to a survey that will then take from users of the parklet and access and complete. That will give us some measurable feedback as far as their thoughts on the parklet and improvements that they would like to see. As well as feedback from the property owner who is on site on a regular basis about actual use that may not be captured from the survey. But it will be part absorbed use patterns in a survey that will allow some more feedback, or word escape would be qualitative feedback we could incorporate.
And that's great. That's the kind of thing I would look for. I would encourage you to try to set some type of numbers or information ahead of time as to what does constitute success, and then use the feedback to measure against it.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right. Are there any other questions? Go ahead, Rob.
The similar concept is used by the mall, but it's not in the parking lot. And honestly, I see a lot of people, I haven't been in the mall in a while, but whenever I did, a lot of people do utilize it. They sit outside of the restaurants and stuff. The two areas, did you mention where you're looking or where you think you have an agreement, or is this off limits right now?
I'm glad to share one of them. We are the one that's a little further along is the Kroger Shopping Center on Sweetwater Boulevard. They do have.
She's excited. It's a nervous.
We planned that, Councilmember McCutcheon.
All right, Cam, you're not on my good list anymore.
Yes, this is just part, anyway, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, at the beginning, we reached out to property owners that we developed contact with all over the city, and move forward with those who expressed interest. And so that is the one shopping center that we're further along discussions with at this point. I don't typically want to mention the other one unless I'm pressed on it, because I maybe have not committed yet to follow through. Well, I put them on the spot here, but we are in had that conversation with the other shopping centers.
I think Jennifer May wanted to chime in.
Yeah, I was just going to reiterate that, Cam, you didn't just pick two from the beginning. Like, you did kind of more of a blast to people. So, I mean, it's really the two that'll be part of the pilot program are the ones who were the most interested in the beginning, and will be, you know, like as Devin said, it's a pilot. And so the more people who are interested in doing something like this, the more we have the opportunity to test more unique things over time. But I just really wanted to reiterate, Cam didn't just pick his two favorite shopping centers. It was, he reached out to and gave a lot of people a fair chance.
Yeah,
Was town center not interested in this?
They are working through their own sort of concepts when it comes to revamping it, and so this probably would not be a great fit for next.
I think there's other things going on there. It's a great concept. I'm going to repeat what Mr. Atkinson said. To spend $25,000 on something and just have it there for 6 months is a concern of mine. And so I'm hopeful that the two that we choose, we can do a little bit more, either a longer term agreement. I think it definitely adds to the shopping center and the lifestyle that we all love Charlotte about.
Can I say one other thing, or ask a question, or make a suggestion? And going off that commentary as well as Amy's question earlier, it seems it would be helpful. You're doing this, Cam, and when you approach property owners about this, to me, they would happen as bad as we want to have from an economic development and aesthetic standpoint. So I think it is helpful if when you put the agreement together, there's a discussion or an addendum, or at least some meeting of the mind between us, the city, and the property owner, what the goals are, so we can measure accomplishment. I'd like to know that the property owner has an expectation that's similar to ours, and that could lead to a longer term use of the facility that we construct. So it just seems important to me that be part of the dialogue and the agreement together.
All right, are there any other questions?
I was going to say, I second what Director Atkinson just said. Those are very excellent points.
All right. No other questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Billy Atkinson, and a second.
I'll second that.
And Director Gasani, second. And a roll call on the vote. Director Saunders,
Approved.
Director McCutcheon,
Aye.
Director Atkinson,
Aye.
Director Gasani,
Aye.
Director Kamali,
Aye.
and I do as well. The motion carries unanimously. Let's move to the next item. The consideration of an action on authorization of an agreement with the SL4B Corporation and Facility Concession Services Inc., doing business as Spectrum Concessions in the amount of $100,000 for the production and operation of drive-in movie nights at Crown Festival Park. Teresa Freza, Assistant Director of Economic Development, presenting.
Good afternoon. As Cam mentioned prior presentation, I'm sorry, is it Mike? Do you have feedback?
Yes.
Okay, 1 second. You start again. I feel like it's better now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, apologies for that. So as Cam mentioned in the prior presentation, the AllInForSLTX Placemaking initiative is truly the continuation of this momentum and excitement that kind of stems from some of the great ideas that the City Council's in September. But it's also a continuation of our support for our local businesses through the impact plan. Through the activation of these projects, we are working towards building that ecosystem, that's critical, that will generate innovation and creative ideas so that we build a stronger economic foundation, ensuring our competitiveness in the region overall. Next slide, please. With that, the Sugarland Movie Series is a project designed to energize our destination venue, in this case, Brown Festival Park. In addition to responding to the demand for socially distanced events, the movie series allows for greater utilization of the venue and has the opportunity to promote Sugarland and our businesses to the region. Also, the movie series has the potential to draw attention from event producers that could benefit the venue's utilization overall. Next slide. The movie series will run every Saturday from December 5th to January 2nd. Movies will be holiday themed, rated G or PG. Gates will open at 5 with the movie actually starting at 7. This is to ensure that it's dark enough yet early enough to have a 1.5-hour movie showing. On-site concessions will be available. We are looking at charging $20 per car. This will be pre-sold tickets. Tickets will be available at least until the start of the showtime or when it's sold out. The goal is to try to assess the traffic impact as best as we possibly can prior to the showtime. And if we determine that we're able to allow for on-the-spot ticket purchases without any negative traffic impact, then we may choose to do so and kind of switch that out. And I know we're going to get this question, so how many people can I bring in my car? And the answer is however many your car is legally designed to accommodate. That is what this is. No RVs, no giant buses, no school buses. Total screens showing the movie while people are tuned in to their favorite to listening to the movies. This will allow for approximately 200 cars per show. Of course, due to the environment we are in, we will be taking certain COVID measures, safety measures, including requiring individuals to wear masks when they are traveling to and from their car and to the concession stand or restroom perhaps. Also, we will enforce social distancing throughout the site. Of note, the cars will be already spaced out enough that if an individual wants to get out of their car and actually watch the movie from the lawn chair, the parking spaces are designed that you are automatically social distancing apart. So we have a little bit of elbow room there, and that's just not to disrupt individuals who are trying to get them back in their cars, and cause a disturbance. Hand sanitizers will be located at restroom stations and concessions, and then as is best with our public health official, we will be asking attendees to self-screen prior to the movie. If they determine that they are unable to attend due to an illness, we will gladly refund them whether it's Next slide, please. To successfully implement this program, we are partnering with Facility Concession Services, otherwise commonly known to us as SL4B. You all may know them as the company that actually does all of the catering at Small Convention Center. But they are actually much more than that. They have experience in large-scale event production. They've been producing the McDonald's Christmas Children's Festival for decades now. They work alongside Waterloo Music Festival and then Tortuga Music Festival, which is one of the two largest music festivals in the nation. As part of the contract, Spectrum will be responsible for all of the logistics planning, security, water, electricity, light towers, personnel, concession stands, etc. We will reimburse them for each and every single one of these expenses, but we are responsible for marketing and getting the information out into the region about this event. Next slide, please. As we discussed during the onset of the pandemic, our businesses are really truly looking for promotional support, and it's not just a handout. Which is why, similar to previous in the movie, we'll be featuring our shopping destination centers, local businesses, and of course our artistic and crispy cash program prior to each movie. This really allows us a creative opportunity to kind of showcase a lot of the business community, get them out there in the foreground. This will help us to continue to support them and providing that additional marketing opportunity that's not necessarily granted right now. Next slide, please. Regarding the investment for this program, our staff is proposing to utilize $100,000 in reserve opportunity revenue, for which I mentioned that I'll provide a new budget. Contract will be designed up to $100,000. So 5 movies, approximately $20,000 each, this is $200,000. With there being sufficient space for up to 200 cars, with an entry fee of $20 per car, we do anticipate to generate approximately $4,000, give or take, per movie. And then also part of the deal is that we will take 20% of the net concession revenue. So right now we don't know necessarily what that's going to be. We're not sure exactly what we have to do for that on the service. But regardless, any revenue generated from ticket sales or concessions will directly go back to SL4B and help offset the cost of the program. Next slide. Final note, as was shared in the memo sent on Monday, we've begun the preparation and planning for the movie series to actually kick off during one of the most popular movie movies, which is Thanksgiving weekend. To do so, we entered into a smaller $40,000 contract with Spectrum to begin all the necessary planning. This takes a significant amount of time and preparation, and to put together all the marketing pieces to take advantage of next weekend's tradition of watching movies as a family. We've used FY21 budgeted marketing dollars for this contract, and under the general manager's authority to execute. With the exception of Friday's activation, Thanksgiving weekend's back-to-back movies for Friday and Saturday will follow the same stipulations as outlined in the presentation. So all the safety measures, planning, start time and time, etc., including the revenue sharing, the reimbursement of expenses, all of that will be implemented during our plan. We will be evaluating next weekend's movies to determine how to best position the series pending moving forward, and that's of course pending our board's consideration. Next slide. So with that, our recommendation is to approve the contract with Facility Concession Services in the amount not to exceed $100,000, and approving the request for opportunity that's $100,000. Last slide.
Are there any clarifying questions for Teresa? Director McCutcheon, come off mute.
Thank you. Now, as far as parking goes, when you buy your ticket, will you be assigned to a parking spot, or will somebody be directing the traffic as you come in, or is everybody just sort of left to their own devices to pull into whatever parking space is available?
To maximize the space, how we're going to do it is it's going to be first come, first serve, and that's in order to start attracting those individuals further on to not create that congestion and to maybe entice them to utilize some of the concessions. So it'll be first come, first serve. Front row parking, make it as soon as you can. If you're okay, you're just kind of there for the overall experience, then you can get there right before showtime. We will park them as they come in, and they will have parking attendants to put them in designated parking locations.
Okay, and these are the parking locations that are already existing there at the site, right? So we don't do any additional parking building spaces.
The actual site is going to be the Crown Festival Park, so not the parking lot. We're going to be using the grassy space, 59. So it's a little bit more about the experience overall. What Spectrum is actually going to do is they're going to square off the designated parking spaces and then have attendants park them into their corresponding spaces.
Oh, that'll be fun. Okay. Have you selected the movies yet?
Yes, we do have some. The first viewings are going to be Frozen on Thursday, Friday, and then we're going to do Elf on Saturday. And then we will alternate movies between a Christmas animated story and or a Christmas human story, non-animated. So it kind of attracts a lot of some of the younger kids and some of the older teenage kind of kids. We're going to go with classic movies like Christmas Story, Santa Claus with Tim Allen, Polar Express, and then to kind of close things off, we're looking at Karate Kid for January 2nd. Something, the traditional, original 1980s, I think it's might be the 1980s movie, just because it's a movie about hope and determination, and I feel like leading into 2021, that's what we all have to
Okay, great, thank you. And I think I saw a written comment from Director Porter comments.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, he's there. Mike can see him. Any other questions?
Yes, Madam Chair. Director Porter's question is, it's what we know as fair weather parking.
Yes, yes, sir, it is.
Okay, Director Gasani?
Will this only be for the Sugarland residents, or other residents will be allowed to?
It will be open to the general public, Sugarland residents, people from around the region. We're going to market it with a 30-minute drive time window.
One suggestion, if it
Yes,
goes
sir.
on beyond January, you may want to consider a Bollywood movie. In the city.
That's a good idea.
Just have
I'd support you there. We'll sell out 200, we'll need 600.
easy.
Do backpackers?
So just so Billy, Amy, Sharon, you all know, this all started, as they mentioned earlier, city council retreat, where Jennifer and some of the leaders were there, and let's make use of our site. This was pre-COVID, we weren't even thinking COVID, but I think staff, you all have come up with some great ideas, obviously today, and I know there's more coming. The excitement is definitely there that let's utilize this. My question, Amy, if you don't mind, is the 200 times the 20 is that revenue for the city? Is that correct? Is that what I saw?
It's ticket revenues, but it's going to go back to SL4B because SL4B is a revenue source.
Correct, same thing. And then 20% of the concessions. So let's say it's a total of $6,000. We have a sellout, plus we get $2,000. It comes back to Sugarland for me. What's in it for Spectrum and why are they doing this?
Actually, with us, we have Aaron Wilkinson, who's the production manager with Spectrum. He's actually working specifically on this project. He's worked alongside Dave Smalley, which is many of you know is the owner of Spectrum, for close to a little over 10 years, almost close to a decade. And so for them, really, I'll let him kind of speak to what's in it for them, but they're going to be getting a portion of just direct payment for the management of it at $5,000. And really, truly, we've been in conversations with Spectrum for, probably close to 2 years, and they are wanting to really see what this venue's capacity is. I mentioned earlier, they are a full-scale production firm. We don't just do, concessions and we do, large-scale productions. So they want to know what the real potential capacity of this site is. Aaron, are you?
She's on. I can see her. Go ahead, Aaron.
Hi, Teresa. Yeah, how are y'all doing today?
I'm good. Go ahead.
Good. But yeah, as Teresa mentioned, many of you know Dave Smalley, or maybe familiar with us from the Smart Financial Center out there. One of our biggest things is just working with communities. That's always been the biggest motivator for us, to be honest. Some of those bigger items that she's mentioned, the Bonnaroo, the Tortuga, things that we do there, we typically staff with nonprofit groups, and we do that in order to give back to the community. They earn percentages, commissions from us. We've never been about what we want to take, it's about what we can give. Dave's biggest motto is the golden rule, do unto others. So it's similar in this situation as well. We're just here to help the community, help our local area. We're all Houston natives. We're all, born here, raised here. We're here for Houston, Sugarland, wherever we may be. So we're just here to be there for you guys too.
Yeah.
I had a question. Follow-up. Now, Constellation Field recently had a movie, I think Home Alone, something like that. Did you all, Teresa, have y'all gotten any feedback on how the movie night went at Constellation?
From our understanding, they were actually successful. They met the expectations of what they wanted to be. I don't know the exact number of individuals that they submitted or they got for Home Alone, but originally it was supposed to be a one-time movie showing just to see how the market was, I think, right around Halloween. And because of their success, they did the actual Home Alone movie showing as well.
Okay.
There's a demand out there for something like this.
And do they go to a professional company, sort of similar for Spectrum, to organize theirs, or do they do it on their own?
I don't know exactly. I know that they've got a lot of the infrastructure already in place, like the giant screen and the parking location.
Right.
They may have done a lot of it, so I would have to double check and actually confirm that.
Okay. When will the website go live?
As soon as we're done with it.
Oh, okay, so you're waiting for a vote from the...
Motion to approve.
Yes.
Well, wait a second.
Oh.
Director Saunders, you had a question. You've been patiently waiting, so proceed.
Actually, I think that's pretty well been addressed with the other questions. I would just ask if it's a night where it's pouring down rain, what do? Do you move it to a later date?
We do. As you may recall, part of the infrastructure that went into the festival site was to actually be able to capture and drain a lot of that water. But of course, if we have like a week's worth of rain coming in and it's overly saturated on a Saturday, then we're looking at a couple of options. One, transitioning it to the Sunday, which is why we're only doing one night a weekend, so we don't have double booking. In the worst case scenario, we actually have to cancel the event and we will refund some of the money back to those individuals. Like part of the contract stipulates that we will reimburse Spectrum for the actual expenses incurred. So it makes the decision a little more.
Great plan.
I just had a quick question. Can people bring food and drink in their car?
We would not encourage it. We're encouraging the purchase of concessions. We're encouraging to check people's trunks.
Right. Well, I'm just, because there could be people bringing alcohol and such. It's just something that we
are outlining that people cannot bring alcoholic beverages to the site. Spectrum is actually working with SL4B to see how we can help a little bit at enforcement if we suspect that type of activity or behavior.
Okay, and then the funding, you had said that the 40,000 already approved. So is it total 100, and so we're really getting 60 more, or is it 140?
It's a total of 140 when you combine the smaller and bigger contract. So the $50,000 is already done because we needed to make movements for the Thanksgiving weekend. So what's really up for consideration right now is the 100,000.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to check.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other questions?
Yes. Can people, I guess, bring their dogs to this event then too? Or what is or how would people be discouraged from doing that because they like bark, or what's the, is there any rules on that?
Yes, so when it comes to pets, if you would like to keep your pet inside of your vehicle to watch the movie with you, you'll be more than welcome to come inside. They will not be allowed to be out by itself. And that's to not create a disturbance.
Okay, and to follow up on President Sewell's question, so now could somebody bring just maybe a little bit like a water bottle and have water on their own, or is that required to recommend by that? So you can bring your own water.
If you bring your own water, like your baby formula, there's specific kid snacks that it's very picky about that kind of thing. We're not going to. Our revenue is not necessarily, or the goal of this is not necessarily just a concession sales. We're not very stringent upon that. And if individuals bring in a bottle of water, a box of candy, that's fine. Our goal is to entice them to actually purchase what I believe to be some of the best concession food that Spectrum has, with the traditional, and have just the overall experience. For $20, it's not really that much of a cost. Once you throw in a hot dog, pizza, popcorn, sodas kind of thing, and it's warm and it's fresh, it's made right there on the spot for you. I think that's our goal is to attract them instead of to give them.
Okay, great. And Director Porter, question.
Mr. Porter asked if it's nice weather, can they bring chairs and get out of their cars?
Yes, sir. If it is nice, the spacing of each parking lot will allow for individuals to actually come out of their cars and sit in their chairs. And like I mentioned previously, because of the space width between car 1 and car 2 and so forth, they will naturally be social distanced already. And that's part of our COVID safety precautions.
So you would have to grab a situation. So if you're socially No masks. Only wearing a mask if you're going to and from concessions or to and from restaurants. If you're socially distanced in your own parking space in your chair, you don't have to wear a mask.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other questions?
This is Elizabeth Huff. I wanted to just clarify real quick that the way we went through the purchasing process for this is that we leverage the corporation bylaws, that the general manager can contract directly for goods and services in the name of the corporation. That allows us, in accordance with state law, to go around city policies and procedures if the general manager determines it's in the best interest of the corporation. So with us trying to activate some of these cool placemaking initiatives and the speed that we needed to execute the contracts, that is we went through the corporation bylaws to complete this. So just wanted to clarify that before reading it.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve? Director Kamali, second by Director Kamali first, and second by Director Saunders. So I'm going to do vote. Director Saunders.
Aye.
Director McCutcheon.
Aye.
Director Atkinson.
Aye.
Director Gasani.
Aye.
Director Kamali. Director Porter. Thumbs up. Yes, he is, and I support. The motion carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Let's move on to the next item, which is the director's report. Elizabeth Huff, Director of Economic Development, to present.
Good afternoon. Just have a quick update for y'all that in regards to this cash program that was launched earlier this summer after our COVID response plan, we have reinitiated a "Tis the Season" Sweet Cash where citizens, consumers that go out and buy gift cards will now be able to get gift cards of equal value in $20 increments of what they purchased. So we've made some minor modifications to the program. So just want to continue to encourage you all to spread the message and get your friends and family and residents and non-residents out there to buy gift cards and support our Sugar Land businesses. And we're still hearing from them that they need the support. They want people to come out and shop and celebrate the holiday season. So appreciate all of your support in getting that message out. And that is all I have today.
Good question. Elizabeth,
Yes, sir.
mentioned non-residents. Non-residents can apply for the match as well?
Absolutely. That's economic development 101 is bringing outside dollars into our community.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And so just to reconfirm, so if someone buys $200 worth of gift cards at somewhere and submits it, then the next week they could buy $200 worth of gift cards at another restaurant, another establishment, and also submit that. So it's limited to $200 per submission, but not $200 per household.
Correct. And it's as long as they purchase from a Sugar Land business that is located within the city limits, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, I think that ends our meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, so moved.
All right, Director McCutcheon, we are adjourned.
Thank you all. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Safe and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you all.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Same to everyone.
Great job.